Alright gang, we're back to work on the Kohler CV18. We've got the head mounted. The torque spec on the rocker arm pivots is 100 inch-pounds. I've got those torqued down. I did have a suggestion or a question about whether or not the lifters needed pumped up in oil before putting them in, and that made me second guess and think I better research a little deeper. I just went on a forum and they said just throw it in. I researched a little deeper. Yes, you do have to. So I did that. Pumped it up. So now we've got everything set and ready to go to give us a core compression test. The intake manifold is just loosely attached, so it's like the throttle's wide open. We're not going to have any issue with drawing air. I think I better, because if it's got the compression that it should, I should have the engine clamped down. So give me just a second. Alright gang, the clamping areas are really small, so I had to go find a couple of small clamps instead of my can't twist clamps that I usually use. Well, let's give her a blast and see what we get. Are you ready? Any predictions? Put your predictions down in the comments below. I'll wait on you. Da, 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 da. Okay, that's long enough. Okay, let's go. Ready? $195. I'd say that's ready to go. What about you? I will do a compression test on the other cylinder, make sure that it's healthy, and then we'll finish buttoning this thing back up, and we will do a bench run before we stick it in the tractor or the zero turn. Stay tuned. More than one time I've been called the Bob Ross of small engine work, so let's put this happy little spark plug in its home, and that was by request. We'll get this happy little spark plug in, and we'll go around the other side and we'll get the other happy little spark plug in, and still have a lot to button up here, but I want to thank you guys for coming along on this journey, for all of the great questions, the questions that made me second guess the information that I got, which turned out to be very good for this engine, because it turned out that the first bit of information I got was incorrect. So I did have to pre-oil the lifters, and I went through and cleared out and re-oiled the exhaust lifter just to be on the safe side. I did compression test over here and we're at 185, so we're in good shape. It's for a 1,000-hour engine. It's pretty healthy. It just had a hiccup, so hopefully that will be the only hiccup. As far as the wiring and safeties and whatnot, I'm gonna have to check and see if I've got spark, if I just disable the fuel solenoid and see if I've got spark, and if I do, then we'll do a bench test. If not, we'll just set it in the zero turn and do our first start on that. So let me get her finished buttoned up. I still have to take the zero turn out and give it a bath. Once it gets a bath and everybody's happy, we will try to bench test it if we can't, because of the safeties and bypasses and everything that it has on it. Instead of me trying to decipher what wire to do and all that, be easier just throw it in, put a couple bolts in the engine to make sure it stays put, and plug all the harnesses in and fire it that way, just to see if we're golden or not. So that's all I've got to say about that for right now. I'll see you guys when I determine whether or not I can bench test here, or if I have to bench test ish in the mower. What do you say, gang? Okay, got everything slapped back together, pretty much. I take the muffler back off and put the deflector shield back on. Sometime during my travel, I bumped the governor and had to reset the governor, so that happened. But let's go ahead and start this sucker up so you guys can hear it purr. What do you think? And I've got spark, so obviously, and all I have to do is just connect the fuel solenoid disconnect and we're good to go. So I can do it over here. We'll do it over here. There we go. Might need a little bit of choke. Are you ready? See how she does. I'm pretty sure we're just blowing a bunch of cleaning solution out of it, but I'm going to check the plugs real quick. I'll check the plugs real quick and make sure that that's what's happening and that we're not blowing oil, because you can see it's smoking over here as well. I had a bunch of cleaning solution all over everything. But if it continues to smoke, we may have a bigger issue than what we initially thought. But it does start and run, does what it's supposed to do in that respect. There's your start video. I'm going to go ahead and cut it now, do just a little bit more tinkering to it, and we'll just call this the end. It's just going to go back in the motor unless I run into something else. So not a super long video on the ending here, but we got her. After it smoked a little bit, I climbed into it, took a little look, and all that happened was I had the engine setting upright in order to install the muffler, and I just threw a little bit of oil in the cylinder. That was all that happened. I'll start it up again for you guys so that you can see we have no more smoke. 1, 2, 3, corn tacked. Might help if I put both spark plugs in, huh? Hang on. Okay, now maybe it'll run a little better. Alright, I'm going to take you guys around to the other side of the engine here, and you may remember all the junk that was down here. Well, the oil filter locates right up under here. Just that little bit of running, I've got quite a bit of oil pooling out of both lines, so I may have to just go ahead and order new lines. I don't see anything over here. I did look, well, yep, I've got a little bit leaking down here too. So I guess the job's not quite over yet. It's close, but not quite. Right down there's my smile. I'm tired too. Right down there's my smiling little face. click on it to subscribe if you're not already. Then here and here are a couple of random videos. It's your friendly neighborhood Zippo. I promise you guys I will see you on the next one.